So there's an element of relevance in AI anyway, right? So if people are at university and they're using AI on a daily basis, most likely they are still just software users. In the old days, we used to say, go Google something, right? Or you might go to, in the academic space, you might go to Scopus or PubMed, or you might go to Google Scholar or something like that and do a specific search on something. That's a web portal, that's a web browser, it's an interface that you go and use. And using a Copilot or a GPT is no different. It's basically a web portal. You go and, type some things in and some things come back at you. So how much more or less skilled are we really expecting people to be in university if that's what they're doing? If you're in a technical discipline and you're building things, you're coding, you're building orchestration, you're deploying systems, of course that is very, very fast moving. In the space of something like medicine, we would expect that the ability to do clinical research would be vastly accelerated, because now you can be aggregating data from lots of databases, you can be looking at observational data in a very different way, and you can be targeting new molecules and new medicines in a very different way. So these, we have genome mapping, all of these things lead us towards a space where the tech is changing how things are done in certain areas, but in other areas, medicine's a great example. If we think about the training period for a doctor, once they have become a medical doctor, so that's a professional doctorate, and they are then qualified or licensed in some way to go and practice medicine. In most countries, they don't just go and practice medicine. They then go into a hospital, they'll do some kind of junior internship, and they will be inducted into the ways of working in the profession. And that will take a couple of years of observation and mentoring and coaching and practice and signing off different procedures before they can then be qualified effectively, professionally qualified, to go and do these things on their own, and then eventually go into practice, etc. So there's quite a career path there. And that's a really good example. Law is another example where you have that formality, where you have the transition from university to the world of work. And that is to some degree augmented or supported by the technology capabilities that we have in the AI space. In law, there are a lot of things that are around surfacing regulations or case law very, very quickly. You don't have to go and read thousands of documents now. So we have these different aspects, but they're coming from the world of work. And I guess the thing we're debating is, you have university, you have work, you have a transition between the two. And where should the responsibility be for saying, well, this is how technology and AI is being used in the workplace, which is slightly different to how it's being used in education. Because how it's being used in education is really about content development, multimodal content development, static or dynamic content development, which is the AI question. So if we say, I want this and I want it as a video. And then we have the surfacing of cursory information. So that is, I don't know this thing, but I have an idea. Can you talk it back and forth with me so I can sharpen my idea? And that's using the AI entity as a partner, as a coach, as a mentor, as a brainstorming partner, or a team member, or something like that. So we have these different ways we could use the machine, the synthetic workforce, the synthetic teacher. And all of these ways are available to us. I guess probably the question for you is, how much of this is used in a university setting? Because those three things are available certainly in the workplace for adult learning, and a lot of these things are also available with more guardrails in the schooling population. In the university sector, I pretty much guarantee that in every Western university certainly, and it's true in India as well, that every student has got a phone in their pocket that has multiple AI entities, GPT, Gemini, etc., available to them, and they use them all the time. They use them in voice. They're just wandering around campus and talking to them. So the question then becomes, to what degree is that sanctioned by faculty versus to what degree is that effectively what we call in the the business space, we call it shadow AI. So people are using it, but it's not really supported or endorsed by the business. So how is it working in the university sector?